right here in the front.
As soon as she gets out, right?
For Mary, your relationships with Adama has really grown and changed.
Which Adama? Sorry, I don't know what got into me. I don't usually act like that.
It's really great.
I want to make him blush.
I
I love the color of his sweater. I like it when it moves right up to his eyes.
think it clashes when I blush.
Okay, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, that would be Admiral.
One day I'll be Admiral, just wait.
And I'll be 90. Okay, go ahead.
You respect each other a lot more than when you first started. Is that going to continue?
Well, I think that the respect we have for each other has grown in spite of ourselves. And I think those are the kind of relationships that last. If we haven't ended up killing each other already, we probably won't. I would assume. But it's in a way, the closer we get emotionally, the more complicated some of the things that are going to come down the pipe could become for us. So I think it's just probably going to get richer. But I couldn't begin to guess as to what direction exactly it'll take. Yes? Yeah.
I had a question for Jamie. One thing that the fans have all been talking about on the boards has been just kind of when you film more scenes that are actually ending up in the episode, are there any particular scenes that you wish they'd have included that they didn't? We were all waiting for the Soldier's Code talk in the episode of Rapture where you're talking with Anders about Kara and how she's, you know, the kind of person she is, and we just wondered if you wish that had been included or if there's any other scenes that you shot that didn't make it into the epi that you thought would be.
You know, the way we shoot our show, and I can, you know, I've never done an episodic drama in this country ever before, so I have nothing to compare it to, but I do now, having done an episode of Cold Case and Ghost Whisperer, which I just did recently. And the difference is that we shoot much more like a movie. You know, there's the usual direction or refrain from a director in TV is take out the air. You know, get on with it. You know, get the lines right, get them on the cues, and that's never been the way that we work. We work with the spaces and the silences, and as such, our episodes always go half an hour too long. One of my favourite episodes is the episode that Mary mentioned just a minute ago, the torture episode she called it. I think it's called Taking a Break from All Your Worries, a ridiculous title for that show. But it started off about something completely different. It started off as being a cheery episode about a bar, and it morphed. But that episode, I saw a cut that Eddie did in Assembly, which was an hour and 20 minutes long, I think, and it was sensational. It was amazing. It was like it was a movie, and it was great. And then we have to cut it down to 44 minutes of TV time, so there's always lots of stuff that's lying around. Is there a particular scene that I can think of? To be honest, no, because you know, they just, you forget about them. You know, you move on. You can't, and almost every scene has a bit of the scene that's no longer there, because we tend to put a beginning and a middle and an end to scenes that, you know, in TV, most of the scenes start with someone shouting at someone else, or answering a question, or it's in the middle of the conversation. And we often go back and provide the beginning of the conversation. And often what you get in the episode is not the bit that they wrote, it's the bit at the beginning and the bit at the end, and the middle is kind of, you know, not there. So there's too much stuff to really name. I honestly can't think of anything jumping into my head that I really wish had been there.
I think some people thought that the leading relationship wasn't.
Oh yes, there's lots of. That's a good point. That's a good point. Now there's about 100 million scenes of me and Candice that are on the cutting room floor. Yeah. And no, some of those I do regret, but you know, it's not the Liam D show, and you have to lose some things along the way. The wig. Come on.
For both of you, which is your favorite episode and least favorite episode?
Just off the top of my head, like right now, of the ones that have aired, I really do like the episode that Eddie directed, Taking a Break. I thought that was just different, and you know, there's no special effects, there's no fighting in space, there's none of the stuff that, you know, is easy for us to do in some respects, and everyone's going to laugh. I thought that was bold and different. My least favourite was something I did in season 2, Black Market. I just said, and it was me, so I take responsibility for that.
I have a feeling my favorite, because I've seen a little bit of rough cut of 19 and 20 when we were referring to. At the end of this season, I believe these will end up being my favorite. But I've always been very, very partial. I can still see it to the episode 33. That episode I could watch over and over again, and I don't watch them over and over again. I sort of do them and watch them and move on. But that one has always stayed in my heart as one of the reasons we succeeded was because of 33.
It's just a tight structure, that episode. It really, and it's everybody. You know, the whole crew is in there.
Yeah, and I don't know if I have a least favorite. I don't really. Probably the one that I'm in last. Sorry.
Yeah, you've been very patient.
Yes, one of the things I really like about Battlestar Galactica is how there are so many science fiction series where they have all these pretty young actors who don't really fit.
I don't even like this. And ours is different now.
Galactica is how the older actors have such dominant, forceful roles and are still active and are not just the grandpa character or the older uncle character. I mean, they mix it up. I mean, see, I'll give you one example. Edward James almost did boxing. I mean, that was
pretty amazing, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm amazed he didn't die of a heart attack.
He would laugh.
I've been very disappointed in that you guys haven't gotten the Emmy awards that you deserve from acting.
Well, I want to respond to both of those, if you don't mind. I really appreciate what you're saying about the older actors and the older characters. And when I look around, when I take a break and take a look around at what my peers are doing, I'm absolutely astonished and feel nothing but gratitude to our writers because of the complexity that they allow us to live in, you know, and we would be playing a lot of mom and pops, Eddie and I, at this point. Well, we might not because we're pretty lucky, but I do think that this show has opened a door, certainly for the female character.
And for women in particular.
And for women in particular.
It's great.
And the other thing about the Emmys, I did want to say something. People talk about this a lot, and far be it from me to say it doesn't bug us the way we get ignored, because you can't help it. During award season, you can't help it unless you fly to the Bahamas or something. It's not happening. But honestly, it's a very fleeting moment of annoyance, because last year when we won the Peabody, I remember sitting in that room thinking, this is the most astonishing, wonderful thing that's happened. And looking at the writers that day, I think that we can remain pretty comfortable with what's happening to us and just detach from the industry award flu, you know. I think we'll be okay.